Kıymetli basın mensupları,
Valuable members of the press,
değerli arkadaşlar,
dear friends,
hanımefendiler, beyefendiler,
ladies and
sizlere
gentlemen,
kalbi duygularımla
I would like to greet you all with the most heartfelt sentiments and respect.
Distinguished members of the press, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to salute you all with my most heartfelt emotions and with respect.
Avrupa Siyasi Topluluğu Zirvesi toplantısı vesilesiyle sizlerle beraber olmaktan büyük bir
I'm very
memnuniyet
pleased to
duyuyorum.
be together with all of you on the occasion of European Political Community Summit.
Sözlerimin hemen başında Avrupa Birliği Konseyi Dönem Başkanı Çek Cumhuriyeti makamlarının
At the outset of my
başarılı
remark,
sahiplikleri
I would
için
like to
teşekkür ederim.
thank the representatives of Czechia for their successful
Term Presidents
organization.
of the European Council, the Czech Republic, and all of our interlocutors for their very gracious hospitality.
Bugün Prag'da 44 Avrupa ülkesinin devlet ve hükümet başkanları olarak
Today in Prague we have come together as the heads of state and government of 46 European countries.
kritik bir dönemde icra edilen bu önemli zirveyi az önce tamamladık.
We have completed this important summit which takes place in a very critical time.
Her açıdan yoğun, içerikli ve verimli
The
toplantıların olduğu
meetings were quite intense and proven very beneficial.
With very extensive and very productive meetings with significant content.
genel oturumların yanı sıra liderlerle barış ve güvenlik ile
In addition to the
ve ekonomik
general
konularda
meetings, we
yuvarlak
have
masada
also had roundtable
Avrupa'yı da
meetings
etkileyen
where we have assessed the global
Next to
problems.
the general plenaries, we have managed to focus on significant global problems that are of concern to Europe while we gathered around the tables where we discussed issues with the leaders such as peace and security, energy, climate and economic situation.
Türkiye'nin bu meselelere yönelik yaklaşımını ve
The approach of Turkey regarding to those matters and our opinions with regards to the membership to the Union was conveyed to our interlocutors, to our counterparts.
Discussed, as well as our accession negotiation process into the European Union.
zirve marjında Çekya Başbakanı
On the margin of the
Fiala
summit, we have come together with the Czechian President Fiala and the European
bir görüşme
Union Commission President von der Leyen.
Had the chance to get together with the Prime Minister of Czechia, Mr. Fiala, and the EU Commission President, Madam von der Leyen, and we had a trilateral meeting.
Fransa Cumhurbaşkanı Sayın Macron, Bulgaristan
The President
Cumhurbaşkanı
of France,
Sayın
Mr. Macron, and the President of the Republic of Bulgaria, Mr. Radev, and with the Prime Minister of Spain, with Mr. Sanchez, we got together.
Mr. Sanchez, Ramar, the Prime Minister of Bulgaria, as well as French President Mr. Macron.
Görüşmelerde ikili meselelerle birlikte
During our talks, in addition to our bilateral relations, we have also discussed the future and security of Europe. As a result, we had the chance to assess the global issues and matters.
Issues that are of concern to all the parties involved. Also, we have discussed the future of Europe, security and welfare of the continent. We also had the chance to focus on global issues.
Ermenistan Başbakanı Sayın Paşinyan'la da bir görüşmemiz oldu.
We had a meeting with the Armenian Prime Minister, Mr. Pashinyan.
Armenia, Mr. Pashinyan.
Bölgemizde iyi komşuluk ilişkileri temelinde
On the basis of good neighborly relations in our region, we had the aim of establishing a full normalization, and I sincerely believe that we can accomplish this target.
On the basis of good neighborly relations in our region.
değerli basın mensupları,
Valuable members of the
siyasi
press,
topluluğunun kıtamızdaki sorunların ele alınması ve ortak çözümler
the
için
European political
zamanlı bir
community
gereksinim olduğu kanaatindeyim.
is a timely initiative for assessing and tackling the problems in our region.
To discuss the problems in our continent and in order to cultivate solutions.
Bununla birlikte bu platformu Avrupa Birliği
In addition to this,
bir alternatifi olarak görmediğimizi
we
de
don't see this
ifade etmek
platform
istiyorum.
as an alternative to the European Union expansion policies.
To the European Union enlargement policy.
Dolayısıyla bu platformun üyelik sürecimizi
Therefore,
halledilmesini asla kabul
we will never accept this platform
Therefore, I have accentuated repeatedly
to
that this
put
platform
our
will never be
negotiation
accepted to
process
bring
into
any
jeopardy.
disruptions to our accession negotiations whatsoever.
temel ve öncelikli beklentimiz Avrupa
Our
siyasi
main
toplumunun
expectation
birlik ile ilişkilerimizi güçlendirmesi ve üyelik
is
sürecimize
this European
katkı
political
sağlamasıdır.
community to strengthen our relations with the European Union and contribute to our membership
Is to help
process.
strengthen our relations with the Union and contribute to our accession negotiations.
Bu görüşlerimi zirvede ve ikili temaslarımda da ifade ettim.
I have also conveyed my opinions in our bilateral talks and also during the summit.
Zirvede genel kanaatin de bu yönde olduğunu memnuniyetle
And
ifade ettim.
with great pleasure, I have observed that the opinions of the leaders were likewise.
Ülkemiz güvenlik, savunma, terörizm,
In the field of
enerji arz güvenliği,
energy security,
ve
migration,
tedarik zincirleri gibi temel sıkıntıların
security,
aşılmasında hayati öneme
our
sahip.
country has an essential role to tackle the problems in aforesaid fields.
Defense, terrorism, immigration, energy supply security, health, and restrictions to the supply chains.
Avrupa Birliği'nin karşılaştığı meydan okumaların üstesinden gelinmesinde ve
In order to overcome the challenges faced by European Union and defining the role of the Union in the international arena, Turkey has a role which cannot be replaced or substituted.
As well as during surmounting the challenges that are of concern to us all, infecting the European continent.
bu hakikatin Avrupalı dostlarımız tarafından da kabul edilmeye başlandığını gördüm.
I have also observed that this fact, this reality, is started to be acknowledged and accepted by our European interlocutors. They also state that the obstacles presented in front of Turkey are not just, and I have also underlined that those obstacles are also inflicting a damage to the interest of the European Union.
Actually affecting negatively the interests of the European Union as a whole.
Bu konuda artık daha vizyoner ve
So
stratejik
regarding to
kararların
this
alınması
matter,
gerektiğini
more
inanıyoruz.
visionary and strategic decisions should be adopted.
Will have to be made.
Avrupa Birliği'nin bazı ülkelerin çıkarlarına ve ihtiraslarına teslim olmadan
The European Union, without being taken as a captive to certain interests and the ambitions of certain countries, the Turkish and European Union relations should be improved going forward to a full membership.
değerli basın mensupları
Valuable members of the press, all those developments unfolding shows us once again that Turkey is a key country for the Union and also for the continent.
Once again showcase that Turkey is a critical and a key country for not only the EU but also for the European continent.
zirvede bu husus muhataplarımızca da teslim edilmiştir.
And this fact is also accepted by our interlocutors during the summit.
Ülkemizin Rusya-Ukrayna savaşındaki arabulucu ve
The
kolaylaştırıcı
intermediation and the facilitating role of our country during the Russian-Ukrainian war was appreciated.
Russia and Ukraine is especially admired and appreciated.
savaşın ilk gününden itibaren
From the first day on the war, in order to put an end to the bloodshed and also prevent and avert destruction and that toll, we have exerted a great endeavor and lots of efforts.
To prevent casualties and in order to stop destruction once and for all.
adil bir barışın kaybedeninin olmayacağını her
We have repeated at every opportunity to our interlocutors that a fair and just peace will bear no losers.
tüm zorluklar zorluklarına rağmen
Despite all the difficulties and the challenges, opening of the grain corridor
önemli birer
and
başarı olarak
establishing the swap of the prisoners of war was a very important diplomatic success.
and the swapping of the prisoners of war between two countries.
şu ana kadar dünya pazarlarına
Up until
6
now,
milyon tonun üzerinde
more
tahıl
than 6
ve
million
gıda
tons of
ürününün
grain
sevkiyatı
has
gerçekleşiyor.
been dispatched to the international markets.
Supplied with more than 6 million tons of grain and other food items.
Tahıl sevkiyatının önümüzdeki süreçte de devamı
The grain deliveries will continue in the upcoming period, starting with the Ukrainian people. The continuation of the grain delivery will be for the utmost benefit of all the Ukrainian people and the whole
But
Europe.
also the rest of the world, along with the Ukrainian people primarily.
tabii bu arada Rusya'nın
Of course, in the meanwhile,
yine alıp Türkiye üzerinden
via Turkey, the fertilizers of the Russia
gayreti içerisinde olacağız.
will be dispatched to the countries who are in need of it.
That the Russian fertilizers will be supplied to the countries in dire need.
Türkiye'nin her iki tarafla da konuşabilen
The Republic of Turkey is a country who can speak with both parties and who can establish sincere dialogue with both parties, and this important reality is appreciated and better comprehended every passing day.
All of the parties involved can establish a sincere dialogue with the parties of the battle, and Turkey is a partner that all of the countries can trust, especially these two countries can trust.
Nitekim bugünkü temaslarımızda pek çok Avrupa
During our talks today, many European leaders
işte bahsetti.
And during our
have
discussions
spoken
today,
with great admiration of the Turkish diplomatic moves.
praise.
Sahada yaşanan kabul edilemez gelişmeler
Developments unfolding on site which cannot be accepted makes our job much more harder, but despite this fact, we believe that even the worst peace is better than conflict and war. That's why we are exerting a lot of effort in order to put an end to the ongoing conflicts.
Once and for all, as we believe that the worst peace will always be much better than the war.
hal böyleyken bazı birlik
As
üyesi
this is the
ülkelerin
case,
Türkiye ile işbirliği ve iyi komşuluk yerine gerginliği
some of
tırmandırmak
the members of the alliance, rather than choosing cooperation and also partnership with Turkey, they choose increasing tensions and conflict and opting for provocations.
Prefer to escalate and provoke.
Burada şu hususun altını çizerek ifade etmek istedim.
I would like to underline one very important fact right here.
Türkiye'nin hiçbir ülkenin toprağında
The Republic of Turkey is not eyeing on any territory of any country, or we are not eyeing on the sovereignty of any state.
Sovereignty, the rights and the legitimate expectations of any countries whatsoever around the world.
biz sadece ülkemizin ve Kıbrıs Türklerinin menfaatlerini korumanın mücadelesini veriyoruz.
We are only striving for protecting the rights of our country and the Turkish Cypriots.
Kimseyle hiçbir komşumuzla gerilim istemiyoruz.
We don't want any tensions whatsoever with no one and or with our neighbors.
Ve Ege sorunlarını uluslararası hukuk
We would like
çerçevesinde
to tackle the problems of agency and the Eastern Mediterranean within the framework of international law. We have repeatedly stated this fact.
Within the framework of international law.
Avrupa Birliği'nin de bu konuda birlik dayanışması adı altında
And
haksız ve hukuksuz
under the
girişimlere destek
guise
olmak
of solidarity within Union, rather than defending illegitimate
I expect the European
claims,
Union
we are hoping that European Union would invite both parties to a dialogue.
our interlocutors to a bilateral dialogue foundation instead of supporting the unjust and unlawful initiatives.
Kıbrıs'ta çözümün tek anahtarı
The key to the solution in Cyprus is the acknowledgement of the equal sovereign status of the Turkish Cypriots.
And equal status of the Turkish Cypriots and to recognize its sovereign equality.
For a permanent solution, the realities on the Cyprus island should be accepted first and foremost. In light of these realities, we will continue to take our steps. As I conclude my remarks, I hope and pray that our meetings would be proven beneficial and auspicious. As the Republic of Turkey, we would like to improve our relations with the European countries, and in order to speed up our membership process, once again I would like to reiterate that we are ready for further cooperation and collaboration.
We are going to make sure that we will be always committed to cooperate further, and we will always focus on the possibility of expediting our accession process.
I would like to greet you all with love and respect.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm from Swedish television. Did you talk to the Swedish Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson about the NATO admission process, and what was your message to her?
İyi akşamlar. İsveç televizyonundan geliyorum. Acaba İsveç Başbakanı ile görüştünüz mü? NATO üyelik süreciyle ilgili olarak görüştüyseniz kendisine hangi mesajları ilettiniz?
İsveç Başbakanıyla şu an itibariyle tabii görüşemedim.
As of now, I will have to state that I couldn't speak with the Swedish Prime Minister. I am hoping that I will be able to speak with the new Prime Minister. Hopefully, after he comes to office, we will find a chance to speak with the new Prime Minister, and we will be more than pleased to speak with the new Prime Minister.
On the occasion of this summit, unfortunately, I'm waiting for the new Prime Minister. I would like to get to know them, and I believe once after they form their close staff, we will be able to get the opportunity to have a meeting together. There are no problems about that.
Evet, şu mikrofonlar.
Could you please pass the microphone? Fatih Uruk from TRT News. During the day, you got together with the Armenian Prime Minister for a couple of times, and what kind of messages did he convey to you in order to solve the Armenian and the Azerbaijani problems? Dear friends, via our special envoys, as you know, the talks continue reciprocally, and we had our talks in a sincere ambience with him, and during our talks there were certain requests articulated, and regarding to those requests, we have made assignments within the framework of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the both countries will speak to each other, and our special representatives will hold the talks. And based on the results of those talks, we will take the necessary steps accordingly.
Talking to one another, and the meetings are still being sustained as we speak. And as far as the meeting today goes, I must say that there were certain demands voiced, and those demands, according to our discussions and deliberations, were duly conveyed to our special envoys, and the foreign ministers were given the necessary instructions. And once after certain programs become much more concrete, we will take the necessary steps forward.
Hanımefendiye.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım, Yunanistan'ın son dönemde provokasyon...
His Excellency, Mr. President, we know that the provocations from Greece is on the rise. You held bilateral talks in Prague, and did you exchange your views regarding to those provocations carried out by Greece with the leaders? At the same time, the policies against the migrants executed by Greece is in the international reports. Did you mention to all those issues? As you know, the migration is increasing to the Europe, and Turkey is also taking a very important responsibility. Would you support the Briquette project?
Yaptım.
Well, I delivered a speech during the dinner, and I mean, this gentleman was very uneasy with my speech.
Bu tür yemek adabına terstir.
Normally, it is not expected
Herhalde
in a dinner reception to act like this. I don't know from whom he received permission, most probably from the chairperson, and he also delivered a speech.
biraz ağır gelecek ifadeler kullandığımızı filan söyledi.
And he said
Ağır bir
that
şey de yok.
we were using some harsh words against him, although we didn't say such harsh
Olması
words.
gereken yerde değiller.
And frankly
Bunları
speaking,
biliyorsunuz, bütün politikaları
all their policies are based on lies.
hep yalan.
They always spread lies. They are not
Bir
honest.
araya gelelim dediğiniz zaman
When you
birleşmek
offer
filan
coming together with the littoral states,
yanaşmıyorlar, yanaşmazlar.
they are not budging an inch for such kind of an offer.
Kendileri daha ön adım
They don't accept it.
atmayı filan bekliyorlar.
But most probably they are expecting from Turkey to take a step, and three countries
Onlarla bu münasebetleri geliştirme konusunda
were also involved today in order to improve our relations with them, and they were expecting first step to come from our side. Not only Greece, I'm speaking on behalf of the Greek Cypriot administration as well.
İşte bak şimdi konuşuyoruz.
I mean, they wanted to come together with us, but we have spoken with them
Sizin bir yerlerden izin almanız gerekiyor.
while standing, but
Yok dedi, ben dedi izin almam filan.
I told them you should most probably take permission from someone, and he said that no, I don't have to take that permission, and I said to him back again that you can't speak without receiving any permission, and he said that I have 2 months left in my office, so let's tackle this issue and let's finish that problem, he said. And I said to him that, I mean, you know your interlocutors, you know your counterparts, so you can speak with your counterparts. That's what I have told him.
Görüşeceğimiz herhangi bir
So at the moment, we have nothing to talk with
bırakmak
Greece,
suretiyle
and we will see what time will show us. So within
temenni ederiz ki
time, we
konuşma
hope
fırsatını
that we
yakalarız.
will find a chance to speak all
Right
those
now, there's
matters.
nothing to talk about with Greece. I hope and pray that in time there will be an opportunity or there will be a reason for the parties to get together in the future. And just this evening, I had delivered a speech during the closing working dinner. And as far as I'm concerned, a certain gentleman became very disturbed and had to leave the dinner table and had to leave the room. I think it was against. No, excuse me. He took the floor to say something, and he stated that I was speaking very harshly. I wasn't actually speaking very harshly because I believe that there are certain problems about their policies. Their policies are not based on the truth, and they are not honest. And as the countries sharing certain shores, we believe that we can get together, but they are shying away and they are not responding to our positive proposals. They expect Turkey to take certain steps forward, and they are injecting third countries into the discussions. They are expecting other countries to get involved, and they are still waiting for us to do something first. And it's the same thing for the Greek Cypriots as well, and we are meeting each other in the halls, in the hallways, and we always say, let's talk, let's get together. But I say, oh, you need a permission to get together and talk to me about this. And he says that he only has 2 more months to complete, and he wants to settle this dispute once and for all. And we will see if we will have the reason and the chance to get together in the future and talk.
Hi, this is Marilu Lucrezio from Rai Italian Television. One of the important points here in the European political community is immigration. From Italy, you know that Italy is one of the arrival countries. And what is your goal? What did you speak about this subject? Thank you.
İyi akşamlar. Rai İtalyan televizyonundan geliyorum. Burada Avrupa siyasi topluluğunun en önemli konularından biri göçtü. İtalya'da bildiğiniz gibi en çok göçmen alan ülkelerden bir tanesi. Konuyla ilgili neler söylendi acaba?
Tabii bunların tamamını özetlemek
Of course, summarizing all those talks is no easy job.
Avrupa siyasi topluluğu
The European political community
alternatifi değil.
is no alternative to
Avrupa
European
siyasi
Union.
topluluğu ayrı bir oluşum olarak
The European political community was a totally different formation. It was born as a different platform,
bir adım
and the
ve konuyla
first
ilgili
meeting
olarak
of the community was organized
şu anda
by
bu
Czechia.
toplantılardan
So
sonra da
after those meetings,
Avrupa siyasi topluluğunun bu toplantısının sonuç bildirgesini de
there will be
yayınlayacaklardır. O
a
sonuç
declaration
bildirgesinde de
of the summit, which I presume it will be published. So what is being discussed most probably will be reflected in the declaration of the summit.
But I would like to say, as I've previously mentioned, that the EPC is never going to be an alternative to the European Union. It's just a different initiative. And here, the first meeting of the EPC was organized in Czech Republic. And I believe after these meetings, the EPC's final declaration will be published.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm from Al Mayadeen TV, Arabic News Channel, Lebanon. My question about the coordination between Turkey and Russia in Syrian file. It's always same as it was before the war in Ukraine, and perhaps maybe there is a possibility to a discussion between Turkey and Syria, and perhaps a meeting between you, Mr. President, and Syrian President. Thank you.
İyi akşamlar. Arnavutluk'tan Arapça yayın yapan basın kuruluşundan geliyorum. Türkiye'nin Rusya ile Suriye üzerindeki müzakerelerine ilişkin bir soru yöneltmek istiyorum. Sizin Rusya ile yürüttüğünüz buradaki ortaklık Ukrayna Savaşı'ndan önceki gibi seyretmekte. Acaba bu bağlamda Suriye devlet başkanıyla bir görüşmeniz olması mümkün mü?
şu an itibariyle böyle bir şey tabii söz konusu değil.
At the moment,
Ama
there is no
mümkün
such
değildir
thing in our agenda,
gibi bir ifadeyi
but
kullanmam da
I wouldn't say that it is not
alışılmış bir siyasetçi değilim.
possible. So I'm not such kind of a
Dolayısıyla
politician who can articulate the
vakti
sentences
saati
like it is not
geldiğinde
possible. So when
biz
it is time,
Suriye'nin başkanıyla da
we
görüşme yoluna gidebiliriz.
might speak with
Şu an
the
itibariyle zaten
president
alt
of
düzeyde
Syria as well.
görüşmeler yapılıyor.
So at the
Fakat bizim bütün arzumuz
senior level,
Suriye'deki
the
gruplarının
talks are being held and sustained at the moment. So what we hope that hopefully the elements of all those terrorist organizations will be cleansed from Syria, and after that, as you know, we are at the moment constructing the Berkat houses, so we are taking the necessary steps in order to speed up the return of the Syrians back to their homelands. And as of now, approximately 550,000 Syrians have already returned to their homelands.
bölgedeki atılacak adımları da bir yerde erteledi.
The Russian-Ukrainian war also somehow postponed the steps to be taken in Syria because, as you know, Russia plays a very active part in Syria, and Iran also plays a very active role in Syria. And on the other hand, the coalition forces play a very active role in Syria, starting with the United States of America. Unfortunately, the coalition forces provide weapons, ammunition, and support the terrorist organizations. And when the time is mature enough and when the time is up, our authorities will speak with the authorities of the United States of America
gerekse tam kuzeyini
So
arındırmalarını hep istiyoruz.
we always want from our counterparts, our interlocutors, to cleanse the terrorist organizations from the north and east part of Syria, but unfortunately, up until now, we couldn't yield the results. We will follow the process.
But I'm not a politician who is accustomed to saying it's not possible or it's impossible. When the time comes, when the time is right, of course, we might get together with Syrian president. Actually, low-level talks are still underway as we speak, but first and foremost, our priority is to see the terrorist groups being wiped away from the northern part of Syria especially. And you are probably aware of the fact that we are currently in the process of building brick homes for the Syrian people in order to expedite their returns to their motherlands. Until so far, more than 550,000 Syrian refugees have gone back to their motherlands. And of course, the breaking out of the war between Russia and Ukraine delayed certain steps that we needed to take forward in the region. Russia is quite effective in that region, Iran is quite effective in that region, and coalition forces are quite effective in that region. And when it comes to the coalition forces, unfortunately, especially the United States, is supplying the terrorist organizations in that part of Syria with arms and vehicles of all sorts. And when our colleagues get together with their counterparts in the United States, they always state these facts to them for what they are. And I believe the northern part of Syria should be cleared from terrorist presence once and for all.
Hello, Maria Psara with Star TV Greece. Mr. President, I have an honest question. What exactly do you mean when you say that you will come to Greece during the night? Are you really considering attacking Greece? Thank you.
İyi akşamlar, Yunanistan Star Televizyonu. Sayın Cumhurbaşkanı, bir gece ansızız gelebiliriz dediğinizde Yunanistan'a saldırıda bulunabiliriz mi demek istiyorsunuz?
Yani konuyu anlamışsın aslında.
Well, you understand the issue. This is not valid only for Greece. Anyone who bothers us, who attacks us, it doesn't matter which country they are, our response to those countries will be we can come at night all of a sudden. The countries should know this as such, and they should understand it as such. As you have understood it, most probably other countries who are willing to attack us most probably understood it as well.
Whatever country will disturb us, whatever country will attack us, our response will always be to say, oh, in the middle of the night, we might suddenly arrive. So I think as far as you understood what the situation is all about, they have understood what the situation is all about as well.
Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, Armenian Service. Mr. President, you have said that you have had a meeting with Mr. Pashinyan today and there are new demands on the table. Could you please elaborate? And we Armenians for a long time have been hearing that Armenian border with Turkey couldn't be opened without solving Karabakh problem. The problem has been solved, as Aliyev says. Now what's hindering opening the border and having diplomatic relations?
İyi akşamlar Ermenistan basını. Sayın Cumhurbaşkanı, Sayın Paşinyan'la görüştük, bir takım yeni talepler dile getirildi dediniz. Tam olarak neyi kastetmektesiniz? Uzun zamandır aradaki sınırın açılması Karabağ sorununun çözümlenmesiyle ilişkilendirildi. Oysa ki bu Karabağ sorunu çözüldü deniyor. Sınır ne zaman açılacak? Diplomatik ilişkiler açısından ne olacak?
Regarding to this matter, as you know, we have special representatives, and our special representatives are working on this matter. And at the same time, our ministries of foreign affairs are working on this matter as well, and they will continue to work on that matter. After they summarize all their works, they will submit it to us. And those works will be focusing on a variety of topics, from cargo transportation to charter flights, and we will continue to work on all those matters, and hopefully as soon as possible our relations among the countries of Turkey, Azerbaijan and Armenia will smoothen up, and we also have the desire of tackling all our problems and solving the issues.
Envoys are already working on this issue, and on top of them we have our foreign ministers who are also invested in this process, and once after they conclude their work, a report will be submitted in a summarized fashion, and we will see what we can do. We are currently working on the cargo freights, cargo transportation, as well as air transportation between the two parties, and I hope and pray that as soon as possible the relations between Turkey, Azerbaijan and Armenia will be quite warmer, and that the problems will be solved.
Andreas Liljeran at the Swedish Public Radio. It's a follow-up of my Swedish colleague's question. When we talked to the Swedish Prime Minister earlier today, she said that you two had a short conversation about the NATO process with the Swedish Prime Minister. You said that you didn't have any meeting today, so could you clarify this? Did you two talk? Did you talk about the NATO process? What was said? Thank you very much.
İsveç Radyosu'ndan biraz önceki meslektaşımın sorusunu tekrar etmek istiyorum. Bugün biz de kısaca İsveç Başbakanı hanımefendiye sorduğumuzda çok kısa bir konuşma da olsa sizinle görüştüğünü söyledi. Acaba bu konuşma yapıldı mı? NATO sürecinden bahsedildi mi?
Arkadaşlar,
well, dear friends, I am speaking about the new Prime Minister. Well, the new Prime Minister of Sweden is not in this meeting, and he didn't come. The previous Minister of Foreign Affairs was present in this summit, and the previous Prime Minister was here, so we dropped in for a chat with them, and during our talks with them, we have expressed our opinions very clearly to them. As long as the demonstrations of those terrorist organizations go on in Sweden, and as long as those terrorists are present in their parliaments, our approach towards Sweden will not be positive.
I'm expecting the new Prime Minister of Sweden, who was not here this afternoon. Instead, the former Prime Minister as well as the former Foreign Minister of Sweden were attending the meeting. And while we were crossing the halls, we had a pull-aside meeting with them ever so briefly. And I had openly stated everything that I thought. As long as the terrorist organizations are demonstrating on the streets of Sweden, and as long as the terrorists are inside the Swedish parliament, there is not going to be a positive approach from Turkey towards Sweden.
Armenian European magazine, Prague order. Mr. President, what preconditions does Turkey have in its normalization process with Armenia?
İyi akşamlar. Ermenistan dergisinden geliyorum. Sayın Cumhurbaşkanı, Türkiye'nin Ermenistan ile ilişkilerinin normalleşmesi için öne sürdüğü ön şartlar nelerdir?
We have no preconditions whatsoever. We only desire a normalization of the relations between Azerbaijan and Armenia, and hopefully a peace agreement can be brokered. If you can accomplish this, then there will be no obstacles between Turkey and Armenia. We would even open the borders, and every sort of transportation, railroad transportation or air transportation, might be initiated.
To come to a certain level of maturity. The relations between the two nations have to be ripened. As long as a peace agreement will be signed by the parties, when they come to that level, I believe there will be no problems on our side whatsoever. And in the aftermath, we will be opening the borders, we will start the freight transportation as well as air transportation.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Fatih.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanı Fatih Özer,
His Excellency Mr. President Fatih Özer from A News.
Cumhurbaşkanım Emmanuel Macron'la bir görüşme yaptınız ve
You have talked with Emmanuel Macron before the family photo, and you have invited him to take part in the organization of Turkic states. How did he respond? He said that I will attend to the meeting of the organization of Turkic states, and he asked me at which season he should come, and he also asked whether he can come after G20 meeting, and we all said yes, you can come, but please do not forget to come to our meeting together with your wife.
And he said he will be there, and he asked me when would be the best time to come, what season would be the best time to come, and he thought probably coming after the G20 summit, and I said you're more than welcome to come after the G20 summit, only on the condition that you bring your wife along with you.
Latifemizde yaptık tabii kendisine.
Of course,
Hanımlar iyi anlaşıyor ama biz seninle anlaşamıyoruz.
Well, I also said to him that our wives get along very well, but unfortunately we are not getting along with you, they said.
Yeter mi?
Is that enough?
Mikko Gustafsson, the Finnish news agency. How would you describe your discussions with Prime Minister Sanna Marin, and what's your plan with the NATO memberships of Finland and Sweden at this point?
İyi akşamlar. Finlandiya Haber Ajansı. Finlandiya Başbakanı Sayın Sanna Marin ile olan görüşmelerinizi nasıl burada betimlersiniz? Şu aşamada Finlandiya ve İsveç'in NATO üyelik sürecine nasıl bakıyorsunuz?
Yani doğrusu
Frankly speaking,
kısa bir görüşme yaptık.
we had a small talk with Sanna Marin, but it was quite beneficial. It went well,
İsveç'e göre daha farklı
and
olduğunu
I have said to her that our relations with Finland is comparatively different to the Sweden, because terrorism and the terrorist members are not wandering in the streets in Finland. However, this is not the case for Sweden. So
İsveç noktasında NATO'nun bir karar vermesi
NATO
gerekir.
should
Eğer
decide
NATO bu kararı
on this matter.
lehine verirse,
If the
biz de
NATO
bu konuda elimizden
gives
geleni
its
yaparız.
decision on the favor of Finland, we will be ready to do our share.
Talk with Madam Prime Minister, and I think it was a really good talk. And I said clearly that the relations between Finland and Turkey are quite different in nature than that of Sweden and Turkey, because Finland is not a country where terrorism is roaming freely, but Sweden is a country where terrorism is roaming free. And in terms of Finland and Sweden's NATO membership, NATO will have to make an eventual decision. And if they make a decision that is in favor of Finland, of course we will do everything we are required to.
Okay.
Thank you. With the National News Agency of Ukraine, you advocate very much the peace negotiations between Ukraine and Russia. Don't you think that precondition for such talks should be the withdrawal of the Russian troops from the Ukrainian territory? Thank you.
İyi akşamlar. Ukrayna Haber Ajansı. Türkiye, Ukrayna, Rusya arasındaki barış görüşmelerinde önemli bir rol alıyor. Ama sizce bunun ön koşulu tamamen ve koşulsuz bir şekilde Rus askerlerinin Ukrayna'dan çekilmesi olmamalı mı?
Daha çok bu iki ülkenin liderleriyle yaptığımız
Well,
görüşmelerden o neticeyi çıkarmamız lazım.
we should come to this conclusion from the talks we held with both leaders of the both countries. At the moment, I can frankly say that maybe it will sound quite ambitious, but most probably I am the sole leader who can speak with both leaders. I can speak very easily with Mr. Putin and Mr. Zelensky. And more than 6 million tons of grain was received via Black Sea and dispatched. Regarding to the Azov troops, we have exchanged more than 200 prisoners, and we didn't only carry out this exchange of prisoners, but at the same time, their families are also accepted to our country. So right now they are our
O
guests.
da Rusya'nın önemli bir ismiydi.
And Myatrachuk was a very important name for Russia. And we have also sent him to Russia. So more than 200 prisoners have been exchanged, so there are no any other country in the world who can pull it off. We pulled it off as the Republic of Turkey. As we attach such an importance to the prisoners of exchange, we also attach such a high level of importance to the grain and fertilizer delivery. So all our works regarding to those matters continue with the participation of our related authorities, and I sincerely believe that good results will come out of those works, and hopefully tomorrow we will have a phone talk with Mr. Putin and we will assess all those matters together.
This question, and we have to reach a certain conclusion as a result of the deliberations that will take place between the two leaders. And I must say, I am going to praise myself a little bit here, but I must say that I can confidently and quite openly speak to both of the countries and both of the leaders. And I think I am the only leader who is capable of doing that. And whether it be President Zelensky, whether it be President Putin, we have always discussions going on. And until so far, more than 6 million tons of grains were actually exported through the Black Sea to especially the countries that are in dire need. And when it comes to the Azov battalion, you know that a prisoner of war swap took place that encompassed more than 200 individuals. And not only the prisoners of war were swapped, but their family members were also brought along, and they are actually in Turkey as well. For example, Medvedchuk was an important individual for Russia, and he was taken from Ukraine and he was sent to Russia as well. I don't think any other country around the world has ever done what we have done in that regard. Prisoners of war, that swap was very important for us, but it's just as important as the grain exports and the fertilizer issue for us as well. I think with the advances and with the progress that we shall achieve, very soon a great outcome will avail itself. And tomorrow afternoon I will be having a telephone conversation with President Putin, and we'll see what happens.
Gördüğüm kadarıyla tercüman da bayağı yorulmuş.
As far as I can say, our interpreters are also very tired, so with your permission, we can put an end to our meeting.
So if you would allow me, I would like to end this press conference.
Good evening.